This weather report brought to you by Caloundra Marine for all your boating adventures.
Good evening, folks. Livio, Regano with tonight's weather. Well, the lead up to Christmas has been very pleasant so far along the Sunshine Coast, but over the next few days, storms will approach us from all sides. Saturday's looking pretty dodgy, Christmas and Boxing Day even more dodgy, but the best news of all is that it won't be insanely hot. Nambour hit a top of just 27 degrees today after yet another cool morning on 17. Tewantin only made it to 26. The airport 27 and Gympie 29, all below average. The satellite loop, you can see revolution is starting to happen across the top end of Australia. And yes, you guessed it, this tropical low does have the potential to turn into a cyclone by this time tomorrow, so we'll have to watch that space. Either way, the monsoon is obviously exploding. We're getting cross-equatorial flow, and this is the sort of thing that's going to really bring us our official start to our wet season. These storms will gradually encroach onto the Sunshine Coast over the next few days, both from the west and from the north, filling in this blank space that we've been enjoying for the last few days. Today's chart, with the low in the Tasman Seas moving off towards New Zealand. There's a high behind it, but once again it's just off the page, and that's producing that weakening ridge along the coast. It's continued to bring us those cool south to southeast winds. On tomorrow's chart, the ridge begins to break down, which means the winds turn easterly and drop off, so it will get warmer temporarily. We've also got this western trough generating those storms, which won't quite reach us yet. On the outlook chart, the trough gets a bit closer. Northern areas start to get more unstable. We may see the first shower on the Sunshine Coast. Notice the open isobar pattern, so hardly any wind by this stage. Now the latest from the Weather Bureau, the boating forecast for Sunshine Coast waters, 15 to 20 knot north to northeast winds, turning straight northerly but under 10 knots on Saturday, and then easterly at 15 to 20 knots for Christmas Day. Surf's barely half a metre at the moment, a big drop from the pumping swell we had a couple of days ago, and the open beaches look really gross, all covered in algae. Now tomorrow's the new moon king tide, and it's a monster. The main peak will happen in the morning, and that's the one to watch out for, with a secondary peak at night. Pardon me. Now, the South East Coast District, a possible storm over southern parts only. Maroochydore and Nambour, 29 degrees, slightly warmer. For Gympie, it's 31. And looking ahead, a cloudy Christmas weekend, nice and cool, but with a very real risk of showers. Humid and stormy for the first half of next week, settling down by Thursday. Brilliant photo, this one, taken from Point Vernon by Gemma Wilton. It's a supercell thunderstorm, looks a bit like a stack of pancakes or even the gills of a big fish due to internal rotation within the storm. Thanks, Gemma, and thank you all. Enjoy the shortest night of the year. And now it's over to Scotty Hillier with the fishing report.
Yeah, good on you, Livio. Pretty good conditions forecast for our Christmas weekend. They are saying light to moderate breezes. Fantastic run of the tide thanks to that new moon. Look, it should fire up those pelagics no end. Here's a couple of tips. That early morning run-in tide looks ideal to be out on the water looking for birds, bait schools, along with fish busting up on the surface. In amongst the bait, there's been mackerel, tuna, mahi-mahi, marlin and a couple of big cobia. Now, trolling live and dead baits has been working well, along with those making long casts with poppers, stick baits and plackies. Now, that deep water is also producing a few good redfish to go along with the Christmas theme and some nice trout taking live baits around the islands. There's also plenty of flathead, whiting and mangrove jack back inshore, and the good tides should see them on the chew. Now check this out. Gun young angler Oscar Polomana used a live slimy to nail his first ever black marlin recently. Good on you, Oscar. Now, I'd like to wish you all a very safe and Merry Christmas. Remember, it's going to be busy on our waterways, so be patient. And if you do wet a line, I hope you get stuck into a couple. I'll be back here next Thursday night, 7 News. Have a top weekend.
Yeah, wonderful, Scotty, and a Merry Christmas to you, mate, and family. That just about wraps it up, folks. If you're going Christmas shopping late night tonight, enjoy it, won't you? And remind anything you'd like to watch again, 7plus app or our page, 7news.com.au. Catch you tomorrow night. Good night.
Tonight, police confirm there was an arrest.